So when you see something in the U.S. made of hemp, I mean, there are stores that sell hemp clothing and all kinds of things like that. Where are they getting the hemp from, and why is it legal to import things made of hemp, but it's not legal to grow the crop in the U.S.?
It's a great question. It's just they've made it very difficult in the U.S. to do that, and again, that's part of, the same reasons they made it illegal in the first place are the reasons that they keep it that way now. A lot of when you see like hemp hair products and seeds and stuff like that, a lot of it is grown in Canada, so it's brought in from there. It can be grown in small amounts, or so there are like. You can get like a license to grow hemp, and a certain amount of clothing and shoes and stuff is made out of hemp that is grown in the U.S. But it really isn't practical to grow it in large amounts. So the whole technology to produce hemp as an alternative source of fuel, for instance, was cut back, and it was derailed so long ago, and they haven't allowed that to be reborn here. So the way they do it is they just make it impossible they make it very impractical to grow. There's so many fines, and to do it on a mass scale is impossible here, and it's not in other parts of the world. So for instance, like you said, Canada, you asked me where it's grown. So Canada, they grow a lot of it there, and they import it from there.
And so is part of the argument that if you have a large hemp crop that you can hide marijuana within that crop, or do you have any sense of why there's, apart from the oil lobby and some other competing interests, is there a party line as to why you can't have a large crop of hemp? Because it's fairly clear that you can't smoke it. So what's the story behind that?
They make it just a matter of practicality, as if the government couldn't monitor that, which is really a ridiculous argument, as I'm sure a lot of your listeners understand. The government, and rightly so, does they monitor and regulate all kinds of crops that are grown in this country. For instance, there's a certain amount of insect product that is allowed in wheat and other crops that are grown here. You can have a certain amount of insect product in that, and the government monitors that and all kinds of other things. Pesticides and stuff, but with hemp, I guess the argument is that it would be too difficult for the government to monitor whether there's a THC, enough THC in a plant, which would be really ridiculous because industrial hemp just doesn't have any in that, and it would be very easy for them to do it. So again, it's just the way that they do that is they keep perpetuating these misconceptions and these ideas that if industrial hemp was made legal again, that that would create a marijuana boom, as if we don't already have one.
So speaking of, I guess, hemp and marijuana, tell us a little bit about the nutritional or health benefits of hemp. What about like hemp oil and things like that?
It's excellent. Again, in addition to all the industrial uses, it's an amazing food source. It has very high levels of omega-3s, which is people have become conscious of that in the last few years, and they usually think of the great sources for that as fish or seeds, or fish or nuts, but hemp has an even higher level than those of that. It's a great source of fiber, protein, just lots of different things. I think that one of the things to consider when we look at hemp as a food source is just like it was cut short, like it was cut off, 70 years ago as an alternative fuel source. The technology for food regarding hemp was cut off as well. So we really don't know how many things it can be used to make. We really don't know how far it could have come in those 70 years had that not been cut off and had the world not been, had this country not been deprived of that.
So are people using hemp as a food source in other countries? Since it's being grown in China, are people eating hemp? And what do you eat, the leaves or the seeds?
The seeds mostly. I eat hemp seeds virtually every morning. I actually just had it on my toast. Right, I put it on. It's great on oatmeal and cereal. It doesn't have much of a taste. The seeds, create like a little bit of texture, but it's just very healthy. Great, like again, a great source of fiber and protein, omega-3s, that kind of thing. But yes, they do eat the seeds in other parts of the world, and I do believe in China they do that. But my understanding of how hemp is used in China is mainly for paper, and I would guess that they're going to begin exploring that as far as the alternative fuel source as well. All the industrialized countries throughout the world are going to be doing that, and hopefully we're not the last ones on that list, because as it stands now, we're virtually the only industrialized country that hasn't made hemp legal again.
And let's talk about some other uses for hemp. So, can hemp be used for things like biofuel?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So we can use it for biofuel. You can make plastic out of hemp that is biodegradable, right?
Absolutely. In fact, like I was talking about, the Henry Ford Hempmobile, which can be seen on YouTube. So if your listeners are interested, I would encourage them to go on YouTube and do a search for Henry Ford Hempmobile. He actually, his car not only ran on hemp fuel, but was made out of a hemp plastic. So it's very durable in that sense. So yeah, it does have those uses as well.
Interesting. So basically, you can use it for, you can eat it, you can use it for paper, you can, and the paper is superior to wood pulp paper because it's you can recycle it more times. Is that kind of the argument there?
Yeah, it needs like a lot less chemicals to cook it. That's what the process is called. So yes, the paper lasts a lot longer. It doesn't turn yellow. My understanding is actually that the Constitution of the United States was written on hemp paper, by the way. So yeah, it is an excellent paper.
Interesting. So, any other hemp facts that you'd like to share with our listeners before we need to wrap up?
Sure. Hemp. Well, just a few things. It is the oldest cultivated fiber plant in the world. Like I said, it was even used to build the pyramids. Let's see, I don't know what else we haven't gone over. Well, here's one that will kind of show the kind of the hypocrisy with it. During World War II, when Japan took over the Philippines, what was used to make there's a product that was grown in the Philippines that was used to make rope, and the Navy needed that, and because Japan had taken over the Philippines, we didn't have that source anymore, so the government actually was paying American farmers during World War II to, quote, grow hemp for victory. And then as soon as we didn't need that anymore, it was back to where it was, made illegal again. So we just have to get that awareness out there. We have to, don't take my word for any of these things. I would say to the listeners, please go out there and check these things. Go online and do searches and check these things, and let's increase the awareness about this. That's what this is about. And so, when we get this book out there, please visit our website, www.hempthenovel.com. Learn about this and spread the word, because that's what it's about. When we reach a tipping point where so many people are aware of what hemp used to be in this country, and how much, how great of a help it can be to where we're at, I think that's what's going to make the change. I really do. I think that's when people are going to start demanding that there's change.
Absolutely. I think
greater awareness.
I think we've even learned quite a bit today. Mm-hmm. And are there any hemp groups that you might suggest to people if they'd like to join a group and further their interest in hemp, or just any sort of hemp lobbying,
hemp advocacy
groups? HAG.
There's a couple really good ones. If you go to our website, we there's a couple on there, but one of my favorites is called Vote Hemp. Okay. That's a really good one. And do you want the web address?
Sure, if you've got it.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's another one here. It's www.votehemp.com.
Okay.
And a lot of the stuff that I discussed you can find on there as well, and they're always the latest news, the latest developments you can find on those. There's another one called Hemp Industries Association, and that's www.thehia.org. www.thehia.org.
Okay.
Those are two of my favorites.
That's great. That's a great resources for our listeners. Thanks so much for joining us, Zack.
Thank you so much for having me. You guys have a great day.
Best of luck with your book.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. That was Zack DiLiberto. He is a co-author of the novel Hemp, and he is trying to get out the word about hemp and why it's such a miracle crop and why it should not be banned in the United States.